The power of the poison explosion is already astonishing, enough to kill all the creatures in the enveloped area. Maybe the third-level God King still has a chance to escape, and the second-level God King like Mengang will die. But if Shuojin Xingchen had a poisonous explosion, then even the third-rank God King would have no choice but to die. Right now, there is a poisonous explosion on Shuojin Star, and the powder of the poisonous explosion swept hundreds of millions of kilometers of starry sky. The highly toxic powder was like bullets hitting the battleship. Highly poisonous can not only kill living beings, but also corrode various magical substances. In essence, a battleship is also a magic weapon, which will also be corroded. The battleship shook violently, and numerous potholes appeared on the surface. The commander gritted his teeth and shouted angrily, "Speed up and strengthen your defense." So far, it can only depend on luck. If the warships can't hold up, they don't even think about going there. On the other side, the Demon, 910, is also flying in the Shuojin area. They also flew into the area where Shuojin Xingchen was. Not long after, the Shuojin stars exploded. Lin Moyu worked for a long time, and finally rescued the people. Some of them could not be rescued. A total of 1032 people were rescued, 725 people were rescued, almost 70%. Those who were not saved basically had their souls corroded by more than 40%. Lin Moyu discovered this limit in the process of saving people. If the soul is too damaged, it will dissipate directly. But the endurance of the soul is related to cultivation. The limit of True God Realm is about 30%, while that of God King Realm can be increased to 40%. The remnant soul of the deity that Lin Moyu had been in contact with had been broken long ago, but he still survived and maintained a complete consciousness. It is true that the higher the cultivation level, the less likely it is to die. These rescued people are still in a coma for the time being. Some people's souls are still recovering, and it will take some time. His eyes swept across the tens of thousands of cages in the starry sky. Although these cages trapped them, they also blocked the poisonous attack. Lin Moyu calculated the time. It's coming soon. I don't know if I can survive here. He knew that the human army was coming. According to his guess, the human army would be attacked by poisonous explosions and gold-devouring beasts. Even if they can get here, it is estimated that they will suffer heavy losses. As for whether the Terran military can find it here, Lin Moyu is not worried at all. Mengang said that the military has better things like the person hunting array. After saving people at this time, the skeleton god will start to do it. The target is those alien races. Sooner or later you will die. It is better to become your own military exploits. Lin Moyu is never polite to his enemies, and he is not a good man or woman, and there is no such thing as being soft-handed. The skeleton god general had already surrounded the target, and following Lin Moyu's order, the huge sword energy smashed through the cage and killed the aliens inside. Lin Moyu felt that the battlefield token was slightly warming up, and it seemed that he had killed too much. I'm afraid that after going back, he will get a lot of military merits, and if he fails to do so, he will be questioned again. Killing and stealing goods, the skeleton god general has already done it well, and brought a large number of storage utensils. Those corpses were not spared either, and the corpses of the God King realm were all put away. As for the corpses of the true God realm, Lin Moyu has completely despised them. Those prisons are all made of Shuojin, and it is also mixed with Shuojin essence. Lin Moyu unceremoniously took out the Shuojin essence and swallowed it in one gulp to strengthen his soul defense. Shuojin collects all of them, and they can be exchanged for points when they go back. The starry sky was filled with a large number of corpses of the enemy's true god realm. Lin Moyu piled them up and put them far away. As for the cages of the human race, they did not move. They can't live without a cage. Lin Moyu waited quietly, not in a hurry. The skeleton god will have spread out in all directions to observe the situation. Lin Moyu intends to wait here for a few days. If the army does not come, then it means that the army is in trouble and may never come. Then he will return first with these prisons. After all, the task comes first, and more than 700 people have been successfully rescued, so this task can be regarded as completed. As for other matters, after ensuring the safety of these people, you can come back and deal with them slowly, and there is no rush. The gold-devouring beast emperor has planned for hundreds of years for this matter, and he is not in a hurry. Moreover, his actions this time can be regarded as destroying part of the plans of the gold-devouring beast emperor. After waiting for several days, there was finally movement in the starry sky. A golden streamer flew over at a very high speed, even faster than the golden eagle god king. When Lin Moyu saw it, he was only 1,000,000 kilometers away from him. 10 seconds later, the Terran warship stopped in front of Lin Moyu with the breath of a battle. The army flew out of the battleship and quickly formed a formation. The murderous spirit on his body has not completely subsided, obviously he has just experienced the war. The battleship is also riddled with holes. The military commander flew out, came to Lin Moyu, and gave a military salute. Ji Hongshan, 4th rank non-commissioned officer, captain of the 10,000-man team. Lin Moyu also added a military salute. Lin Moyu, a 9th level fighter, is doing a promotion task. Ji Hongshan glanced over and quickly grasped the situation. I know you, the holder of the honorary title. Every honorary title holder deserves respect. Even though Ji Hongshan's realm and military rank surpassed Lin Moyu's, he was still very polite to Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu smiled slightly. It seems that you have encountered some troubles along the way. Ji Hongshan didn't hide it. First, the battleship was damaged by the explosion of the Shuojin star. Then, it encountered the sniper attacks of the gold-eating beasts and fought a few times. Lin Moyu asked, is there any damage? Ji Hongshan nodded. There is no harm in the war, but fortunately, the damage is not great. Compared with the outside world, we have already calculated it. Through Ji Hongshan's words, Lin Moyu knew that what he expected was right, and that the fight outside had indeed started. Perhaps all races have guessed about the mutation of the gold-devouring beast. It's just that I don't know exactly how to guess. Ji Hongshan issued an order, and immediately someone started repairing the battleship. Lin Moyu described the situation here again, and Ji Hong was taken aback, showing an unbelievable expression. Brother Lin, you mean that the gold-eating beasts have gained wisdom, and they need to use the souls of practitioners to give birth to more a wise gold-eating beast? Lin Moyu hummed, that's right, that's about it. Anyway, I've already saved all the people I can save, so I'll trouble Captain Ji to take them away. Just as Ji Hongshan was about to speak, an exclamation sounded in his ears. Captain, the poison here is too strong, and Jindan can't hold it. It was only then that Ji Hongshan realized that because they had gone deep, the range of sexual factors had increased. His state is advanced, so the feeling is not too obvious. Those players in the team who only have the 8th or 9th rank of true gods can't hold on first. Ji Hongshan immediately ordered them to return to the battleship, leaving only a few people to repair the battleship. Lin Moyu said, those cages are very special. Captain Ji can take them back for someone to study them. They will not be corroded by poison in the prison. Ji Hongshan's eyes lit up. If this is the case, then it is better than Yu Jindan. Lin Moyu continued, but in the cage, the soul will fall into a deep sleep, which is their shortcoming. Ji Hongshan ordered people to take the prison back to the battleship and deal with it after returning. Lin Moyu continued, this time I destroyed the plan of the gold-devouring beast emperor, I guess they will come here soon. Lin Moyu thought very clearly that he had destroyed the plan of the gold-devouring beast emperor, and the gold-devouring beast emperor would definitely not let him go. But because of the intervention of the human army, they sniped at the human army, so they didn't pay attention to themselves for the time being. It is estimated that the gold-devouring beast emperor is also very clear that he is not easy to deal with, so it is better to deal with the army first. The Shuojin area belongs to the world of gold-eating beasts. They have extraordinary sensing power. It is difficult to hide the movement in this area from their sensing. All the cages have been moved into the battleship, and the battleship has been repaired in 7s and 80s. Ji Hongshan can leave at any time. Ji Hongshan said, Brother Lin, what are you going to do next? Do you want to go out with us? Lin Moyu shook his head, I won't leave for the time being, and you can only stay in the marginal area. I don't know what method the gold-eating beast emperor used to block the area 6 to 99, and you can only enter but not exit. Ji Hongshan said, the elders have anticipated this, and they are trying to find a way. But Brother Lin, it's not an option for you to stay here alone. In addition to the gold-devouring beast, there should be a team of demons coming in, and other races will come in too. Lin Moyu was about to speak when suddenly he frowned slightly. Seeing this, Ji Hongshan immediately asked, what's wrong? Lin Moyu 16 said, the gold-eating beast detonated a lot of golden stars, and the entire star field was temporarily blocked. Ji Hongshan's expression changed, are they planning to fight us to the death? Lin Moyu chuckled and shook his head, no, they just need to trap us here for a few months, and we will be poisoned to death. The number of Zhenjin Dan is limited, and it won't last long. Even in battleships need constant energy supply. Moreover, this place has penetrated deep into the hinterland, and the poison is extremely strong. Even if there are battleships, it cannot persist for a long time. 10 days and a half months is not a big problem, but it will be troublesome if it takes longer. In the messages sent back by the skeleton gods, Lin Moyu saw that there was a strong poison everywhere. A large number of Shuojin stars were detonated, and the extremely strong and highly poisonous powder had filled the entire starry sky, and there was no way out. Lin Moyu has the ability to take them out. As long as he survives the law field, he can take them away. But the gold-devouring beasts will inevitably snipe halfway, and Lin Moyu is not sure to guarantee their safety. What's more, there are still more than 700 wounded and sick people whose souls have just recovered and who have just recovered from serious injuries. Ji Hongshan didn't doubt Lin Moyu's words. On the contrary, because of the previous events and the fact that Lin Moyu single-handedly rescued everyone, he believed in Lin Moyu even more. The mountains of alien corpses not far away are enough proof of Lin Moyu's ability. At this time, the skeleton god will send another message that a warship of the demon clan has arrived. The demon clan obviously also has the means to find their clansmen, and they followed the guide to here. The corners of Lin Moyu's mouth raised slightly. These demons came here to give military merit. Lin Moyu looked at the direction where the demons were coming. There is an army of demons coming. Without hesitation, Ji Hong said that we are going to fight. Quote, as a soldier, he had a strong instinctive reaction. Facing the demon army, there is no second choice but to fight. Lin Moyu laughed, don't waste the energy of the battleship, leave it to me here. Ji Hong was stunned for a moment. He didn't doubt Lin Moyu's combat power, but the opponent was an army after all, and the combat power of an army was completely different from that of ordinary practitioners. Not only the combat strength is different, but also the combat methods are different. The tacit cooperation of the army can often exert more astonishing combat effectiveness. Ji Hongshan said, this is too dangerous. It doesn't matter, it's just a clown. Get rid of them first, and then deal with the gold-eating beasts. Lin Moyu didn't pay attention to the demons at all. Ji Hong looked at Lin Moyu deeply. Brother Lin, are you serious? Lin Moyu smiled. Captain Hua is right after looking at it. Soon, the demon clan's army appeared in sight. Of the original 5 warships, only 3 remained. 2 warships have been damaged on the way. On the remaining 3 warships, there was a glimmer of light, and they were also riddled with holes. Apparently they were also impacted by the poisonous explosion of Shuojin Xingchen, and later they were attacked by the gold-devouring group. The whole encounter can basically be said to be the same as the Terran army. It's just that their loss seems to be a little bigger. Ji Hongshan's eyes were concentrated, and the power of the God King burst forth, as if he was about to fight at any time. The demon warship apparently also spotted the human army and flew towards it. Lin Moyu didn't care, and after waiting for the demon warship to approach, his mind moved. In an instant, white light flickered. The starry sky was densely packed with skeleton generals. Tens of thousands of incomparably fierce sword chi interweaved together to reflect the blue starry sky into day. The sword energy swept across the warship of the demon clan, and a dazzling light burst out on the warship, and a thick barrier emerged. The defense system in the warship was activated, and the barrier appeared automatically, blocking Lin Moyu's attack. But under the attack of the second-level sword energy equivalent to a god king, the barrier twisted violently, and it was about to shatter. Ji Hongshan on the side was startled twice. The first one was the sudden appearance of the skeleton general. More than 10,000 skeleton god generals densely occupy the starry sky, moving in a more orderly manner than the army, which is extremely frightening. They appear together, and move in unison. Even Ji Hongshan's 10,000-strong team is not as good as them. The second jump was frightened by their attacks. Li Hongshan could sense the attack power of these skeleton generals, and they all reached the second level of God Kings. There are tens of thousands of puppets of the second-level God King. Is this his confidence? At this time, Ji Hongshan thought that when he first came in, he had also seen 200 identical skeleton generals. Explain that Lin Moyu's puppets are not just the 1,000 in front of him. There are at least 10,200 of them. The demons were stunned by the sudden attack, and they didn't react for a while. The second wave of attacks came one after another, and Wan Dao's sword energy swept across the starry sky again. The warship roared, survived the poisonous explosion of 713 stars, and was sniped by the gold-devouring beast. It was not easy to come here. The battleship was riddled with holes and damaged. Now under the continuous attack of the skeleton god general, the defense system of the warship was shattered. A big explosion occurred on the warship, the barrier collapsed, and countless demons rushed out screaming. Who dares to sneak attack on our demon army? Tired of work, believe it or not, I will destroy your entire clan. Dare to provoke my demon family, I really don't want to die. The demon clan shouted loudly, but no one paid attention. Lin Moyu's heart moved, and the skeleton gods waved their sword energy again, followed by the sword energy, and rushed away. The sword energy sealed the mouths of the demons, and the demons fought back one after another. Various fields of laws exploded in the starry sky, and various magic weapons were used one after another. But there is an absolute gap in strength. The number of skeleton generals who are on the second level of the King of Gods is less than 3,000, and most of them are still demons in the realm of true gods. It is simply a massacre. Bastard, you are courting death. With a roar, a demon burning with flames came out. Lin Moyu immediately recognized it as a flame demon belonging to the demon abyss family. I have dealt with them in that manner before, and the flame demon is indeed not weak. But now, I can only ask you to die. The skeleton throne suddenly appeared in the starry sky, and a huge coercion swept out. The skeleton king slowly stood up in the flames. Huge coercion swept across the starry sky, blowing like a storm. Ji Hongshan on the side was startled. What kind of puppet is this? How can it be so powerful? In his eyes, the realm of the skeleton king has reached at least the 5th level of the true god. The crimson cloak buzzed behind him, turning into the voice of the soul, reaching everyone's ears. Then the skeleton king slashed out with a sword. Tell, kill god. Teletran's signature spell. Lock instant, no trajectory, no dodge, no parry, only hard pick. The flame demon who just came out and roared a few words, misfired on the spot. A sword light burst from his body, and his body was torn apart by the sword light. The flames gradually extinguished, and a flame demon of the 3rd rank of the God King failed to catch it with a single sword, and died on the spot. Once the flame demon died, the demon army was leaderless, and the panic spread in the army. The skeleton god will have already killed them and surrounded them. They became lambs waiting to be slaughtered, only waiting for the fate of being slaughtered. 3 demon warships suddenly started, trying to escape. The skeleton god will directly enter the ship and massacre the demons in the ship. Without the protection of the enchantment, these warships can't stop the skeleton general at all. The warship that had just started stopped suddenly again, and the demons inside were slaughtered in the blink of an eye. The battle broke out suddenly and ended very quickly. Thousands of demons were killed in this way, including a captain of the 3rd rank of God King. There were also a few powerful demons in the God King realm who had no power to fight back and died under the sword of the skeleton god general. Ji Hongshan was dumbfounded. The battle was over in about 10 minutes. From the beginning to the end, Lin Moyu didn't even move, he just used these puppets. Ji Hongshan had some envy in his eyes, if only he had so many puppets. At this time, Lin Moyu seemed a little mysterious in his eyes, and he searched his brains to think about those families who were best at making puppets among the human race. But after much deliberation, it seems that there is no family with the surname Lin. Suddenly he thought of a possibility. He can't be from Shencheng. He knew nothing about the information in the City of God. But it is certain that there must be families who are good at puppets in Shencheng, and they will only become stronger. If Lin Moyu is from Shencheng, then everything makes sense. The skeletons dragged the warship, and several demon corpses from the God King realm flew back. At the same time, they brought back a large number of storage utensils, as well as various magic weapons. The skeleton god is already very familiar with this kind of killing and stealing. Warships are essentially magic weapons. After the demons die, these warships are ownerless. Lin Moyu quickly left his mark on the warships, and with a flick of consciousness, the 3 warships shrank immediately and were put away by him. Even if it is damaged, the battleship is still worthless. Lin Moyu naturally won't let go of such a good thing. After putting away all the things, Lin Moyu said to Ji Hongshan, Captain Ji, you will stay here temporarily with your people. I will come back after I finish the gold-devouring beast. The surrounding starry sky has been covered by highly poisonous powder, and with the existence of the gold devourer, it is almost impossible for them to rush out. The only plan for now is to listen to Lin Moyu. Fortunately, they should persist for 10 days and a half months. Originally, Ji Hongshan wanted to say that they would also go with him, so that they might be able to help. But thinking of Lin Moyu's combat power, he never said it out loud. I'm afraid that the past will not only fail to help, but become a burden instead. After Lin Moyu started, the Golden Eagle God King returned to his feet. When Ji Hongshan appeared before, Lin Moyu kept him away, and there were some secrets that he didn't want others to know. The Golden Eagle God King turned into golden light, carrying Lin Moyu to fly towards the deepest blue. The dark blue stars in the field of vision are gradually enlarged, and there is the source of this incident. The gold-eating beast emperor, who was originally born with intelligence, has successfully created a new body for himself, but no one knows what his new body will look like. He knew what he was doing, and he would never be able to hide it from the gold-devouring beast, so Lin Moyu did it generously. According to the current speed, it will take about 2 days to reach the most central Shuojinyuan star. On the second day after Lin Moyu left, the Terran battleship was completely repaired. Except for a slight lack of energy, but overall it is exactly the same as when I first came in. The battleship stayed in the starry sky, shining dimly. The formation outside the battleship continued to operate, resisting the poisonous erosion. The formation can only block most of the poison, and some of it will penetrate through the formation. The cultivators in the battleship still have to take Zhenjin Dan to avoid poison. Ji Hongshan was a little worried. Lin Moyu didn't know what the result would be. Captain, there is a situation. Suddenly, a team member reported loudly. Outside the battleship, blue figures appeared. A large number of gold-devouring beasts sneaked to the vicinity with the help of blue light, and surrounded them silently. The number of gold-devouring beasts exceeded 20,000, and Ji Hongshan felt an aura that was not weaker than him. There is the gold-devouring beastmaster. In addition, there are many gold-eating beast captains, as well as elite gold-eating beasts. Ji Hongshan's face became extremely ugly. If there was a fight, they would most likely lose. If he escaped, he would be surrounded by the highly poisonous powder of the golden stars, and there was nowhere to escape. Regardless of fighting or fleeing, the probability of death is very high. Then he thought of Lin Moyu, if only Lin Moyu was still here. A sudden and pleasant report. There are skeletons. Hearing these 3 words, Ji Hongshan immediately looked outside. Sure enough, I saw a skeleton general, and a skeleton king sitting on a skeleton throne. He couldn't help feeling relieved. When did the scary and ferocious skeleton become synonymous with peace of mind? You shouldn't be afraid. But this is the case now. The moment Ji Hongshan saw the skeletons, he knew it was all right. At the same time, he also admired Lin Moyu's thoughtfulness, as if he had expected the gold-devouring beast to attack him a long time ago, and had already made preparations. The skeletons rushed to fight the gold-devouring beast. The effect of the space-fixing orb always exists, and the gold-eating beast here cannot escape quickly, and being able to sneak in is already the limit. Once you are entangled by the skeleton god general, you will die or I will die. When the gold-eating beast appeared, Lin Moyu from far away showed a smile. He did keep a hand, guessing that Su Jin Zheng was very likely to carry out a sneak attack after he left. The fact is the same, the gold-devouring beast has indeed come. He left behind 10,000 skeleton generals, as well as the most powerful skeleton king. Although the number is not as good as the gold-devouring beasts, but the combat power is completely different. The only threatening gold-eating beast king, there is also a skeleton king who can deal with it. The skeleton god will join the herd like a tiger and begin to slaughter wantonly. The ending was already doomed early on, and the difference in combat power was too great. Lin Moyu didn't pay attention anymore. The skeleton god would naturally tell himself after the battle was over. The dark blue in front of his eyes has become more and more intense, the blue light shines on the skin, and the skin is faintly hot. The toxicity is getting stronger and stronger. Lin Moyu has come to an area that he has never been to before. This is a real forbidden area. Even the 3rd level God King can't last for a long time here. But for Lin Moyu, it's just a faint heat on the skin. The dark blue stars exude scorching light, and feel like stars without flames. When Lin Moyu actually saw the blue star, his heart skipped a beat. At this moment, the idea of turning around and leaving rose in his heart. He knew what the body of the gold-devouring beast emperor was. This guy took the Shuo Jinyuan star in front of him as his own body. This huge star with a diameter of more than 50,000 kilometers and exuding venomous poison became his physical body. There are many stars with a diameter of 50,000 kilometers, and there are countless stars in the big world. There are even some huge stars with a diameter of more than tens of millions of kilometers, which is extremely huge. But those stars are a mixture of various fiery substances. Unlike the Shuojin Yuanxing in front of him, his whole body is composed of Shuojin and gold and silver stones, and at the same time, there is a magical Shuojin essence inside. High-purity gold and silver stones endow it with unparalleled hardness. If Shuo Jinyuan's star crashed into a star, it would definitely knock the star out of a big hole. The Shuojin origin star gave the gold-devouring beast emperor an incomparably powerful physical body, and the inner Shujin essence provided the gold-devouring beast emperor with a powerful soul defense. Lin Moyu felt at a loss as to what to do. This guy is not a hedgehog at all, but a solid big steel ball, which cannot be hit or broken. In addition to this incomparably huge Shuojin source star, there are also two Shuojin stars that are as small as gold. It was also occupied by the gold-devouring beast and became their physical body. These two stars have a diameter of about 1,000 kilometers. Compared with Shuo Jinyuan's star, it is like the difference between football and table tennis. Lin Moyu understood that after planning for so long, a total of 3 gold-eating beasts were successfully born with intelligence and new physical bodies. While seeing him, Lin Moyu also understood why there were so few gold-eating beastmasters along the way. The gold-devouring beastmaster is estimated to be able to sublimate and transform, most of them should fail, and the winners will be teamed. As for some other gold-eating beasts, Lin Moyu didn't take them seriously at all. As long as the 3 big guys in front of him can be dealt with, other gold-devouring beasts can be dealt with in minutes. If these 3 big guys can't be solved, it's meaningless to kill all the other gold-devouring beasts. Lin Moyu thought hard in his heart, trying to find a way to deal with them. But for a while, I couldn't find a good way. It's you who ruined my plan. The metal-like sound of the soul is deafening, and the sound of friction is so ear-piercing that the soul frowned upon hearing it. Lin Moyu snorted softly, I can't help it, I can only say that you were born at the wrong time. The blue light vibrated, like sea waves, surging and surging. The gold-devouring beast emperor's voice was even harsher, with strong disgust, you humans have always been annoying. Lin Moyu guessed that when the gold-eating beast king was born, the unlucky 3rd-level god king killed should be a hostile race of the human race. So the gold-devouring beast emperor inherited part of his consciousness, and also hated the human race. Lin Moyu sneered, you sealed off the entire area in a delusional attempt to create a race, but you should know that this is impossible. In this area, because of the special laws, if you are outside, a random god can kill you in minutes. Even if you successfully created the race, are you going to stay here forever? In this cage with a diameter of only 0.01 light-year. The gold-devouring beast emperor laughed, you don't understand at all. But you are right about one thing, this area has been sealed off by me, and no one can escape, including you. The blue light fluctuated violently again, and Lin Moyu's expression changed slightly. He knew that the opponent was about to attack. Realizing the movement, the Golden Eagle God King retreated abruptly. But the blue light was even faster, instantly covering him and the Golden Eagle God King. At the same time, Shuo Jinyuanxing had a huge suction force, wanting to pull Lin Moyu over. The law of gravity. Lin Moyu paused slightly, and the field of laws unfolded at the same time, against the law of gravity. The law of gravitation is very strong, a law between the 2nd echelon and the 1st echelon. It is the fundamental force of the big world, and almost all matter has gravitational force, and the greater the mass, the greater the gravitational force. The Shuo Jinyuan star in front of me has an extremely terrifying quality, and coupled with the law of gravity, it complements each other and becomes even stronger. It's even harder to deal with. Lin Moyu confronted the law of gravity against his own law field, and ordered the Golden Eagle God King to retreat quickly. One left and one right, 2 Shuojin stars flew over. Without any tricks, they just hit Lin Moyu straight. An unpretentious attack, but very terrifying. Even if a God King is bumped into, he will be killed or injured. Under the interference of the law of gravity, Lin Moyu retreated extremely slowly. The 2 golden stars were not attracted by the law of gravity, and collided extremely fast. Lin Moyu had no fear at all, purely physical attacks could not hurt him at all. Since you want to pull, let you pull. Lin Moyu suddenly put away the field of law, let the law of gravity pull him in. Not only did he give up resisting, he even ordered the Golden Eagle God King to speed up and hit Shuo Jinyuan's star. It happened to pass through the Shuojin stars coming from the left and right. There are a large number of gold-eating beasts outside Shuo Jinyuan, and the number exceeds 50,000. Among them, there are also quite a few elite members of the God King realm, and the captains of the second rank of God Kings. They immediately attacked Lin Moyu. The attack of the gold-devouring beast has a unique law, that is, it has the sharpness of the gold system's law, and it also contains extremely poisonous. Lin Moyu's fingers glowed and his mind moved. In the starry sky, densely packed skeleton gods will appear like raindrops. This time, he also made a real move. There is no one else here, and he doesn't need to hide. Suddenly, more than 500,000 skeleton generals appeared in the starry sky. A dense mass of sword energy swept out, beating the gold-eating beasts to half-mutilation almost instantly. In just one round of attack, at least 10,000 gold-eating beasts died under the sword. Asshole! The gold-eating beast emperor shouted angrily, this is his team, if all the gold-eating beasts are dead, he will waste a lot of time. Lin Moyu heard his scolding, and knew that Jin Zheng was not actually cannon fodder. If he died, he would feel distressed, at least it would waste a lot of time. That being the case, the skeleton god will start chasing and killing the gold-devouring beast crazily. Facing the skeleton god general who completely surpassed him in strength and numbers, the gold-devouring beast suffered countless casualties. Lin Moyu took out a space-fixing orb to confine the space and prevent the gold-eating beast from escaping. The law of gravitation radiated wildly, and blue light fell on the skeleton generals, attracting them firmly, preventing them from chasing and killing the gold-devouring beasts. Lin Moyu felt lighter, and he found that the more branches of the law of gravity, the smaller the effect of gravity. Originally, the gravitational force acting on him alone is 100. If the gravitational force acts on 10 targets at the same time, the gravitational force acting on him will become 99, which is 1 point less. As the target increases, the gravitational force will continue to weaken. You don't want me to kill you, right? I prefer to kill. With a heartbeat, another 500,000 skeleton gods will appear. His limit can summon 3 million skeleton generals, but now he has only summoned 1 million, and there are 2 million left to be useless. The new 500,000 skeleton god generals once again hunted down the gold-eating beasts, not letting anyone go. Bastard, bastard. I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you. The gold-devouring beast emperor screamed wildly and piercingly, and blue light burst out from its body, like a sharp sword reporting new words to the silent. Gravity sword. The laws of gravity converged into a giant sword of 100,000 meters, and swept towards Lin Moyu with the momentum of cutting off the stars. The law of gravity explodes in the starry sky, either pulling or repelling. The skeleton god will be swept away by the giant sword, flying down tens of thousands of kilometers. The body was broken and severely injured on the spot. This sword is powerful and heavy, amazing tilde comparable. Lin Moyu is at the center, bound by the laws of gravity most clearly. Fortunately, there are a large number of skeleton gods who will share the gravitational force for him, giving him the possibility to dodge. Although he couldn't die from the sword, Lin Moyu didn't want to try the sword himself. The undead wings vibrated violently, pushed to the limit in an instant, broke free from the shackles of gravity, and disappeared in an instant. The wings of the undead cut off the soul lock, making the gold-eating beast emperor lose his target. This sword cut through the air, but did not hurt Lin Moyu. The skeleton god will light up white light, and thousands of lich generals will appear in the starry sky, because the skeleton god will treat him. The wounds just received are all healed in an instant. But there are also thousands of skeleton generals who were hit by the sword of gravity, collapsed on the spot, and then resurrected again. Lin Moyu's figure appeared on the other side, with a cold light in his eyes. From this sword, he probably saw that the gold-devouring beast emperor's combat power should be around the 5th rank of the God King. Stronger than the gold-devouring beastmaster, but not invincible. Now the headache is Shuo Jinyuanxing. He chose to use this as his physical body, making his physical body extremely powerful. Coupled with the fact that the Shuojin essence increases the soul defense, this is where Lin Moyu has a headache. As the blue light shrouded, the strong gravitational force fell on the body again. Lin Moyu flew towards the gold-devouring beast emperor uncontrollably. The whole body of the gold-devouring beast emperor burst into brilliant light, and the blue light became brighter and brighter, and then turned into countless sharp swords, bursting out in the starry sky. Lin Moyu's face changed. This time the attack was more fierce than before, and it was an all-round attack, leaving almost no dead ends. All the skeleton gods will be within the attack range of the sword of gravity. At the same time, the two Shujan stars also erupted with amazing gravitational force at the same time, and the auras of the three joined together to form a gravitational swamp, and it would be difficult for the skeleton god to move in the swamp. With a move in Lin Moyu's heart, all the skeleton gods will disappear in an instant. Tens of thousands of gravitational swords fell through the air, and only a few fell on Lin Moyu. However, the scattered attacks did not cause any harm to Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu tapped his finger, and the Skeleton King appeared in the starry sky, and the Skeleton King swung his sword at the remaining gold-eating beasts that were locked on. God-slaying sword can be aimed at one target, or multiple targets. The more targets, the more dispersed the power. This point is not much different from the law of gravity. The Skeleton King's combat power has reached the 5th level of the God King, and it is easy to kill the gold-eating beasts that only have the true God level. With one strike of the sword, tens of thousands of gold-eating beasts were engulfed by the sword light at the same time, and died on the spot. Asshole. The gold-devouring beast emperor snarled angrily, and the gravitational force increased violently, acting on the Skeleton King. The Skeleton King was pulled over uncontrollably, and at the same time the 100,000-meter gravity sword appeared again, cutting towards the Skeleton King. The Skeleton King was not afraid at all, and raised his bone sword to meet him directly. Boom! The two swords collided, the gravity sword collapsed on the spot, and the Skeleton King also flew upside down. The bones on his body were broken, and even the bone sword in his hand had dense cracks, which would disintegrate at any time. Gravitational sword was strong and hit Skeletron hard. But in the next second, a strong white light lit up on Skeleton King's body. The Lich General quickly treated the Skeleton King's injuries, the bones healed, and the sword recovered. In a blink of an eye, the Skeleton King returned to his heyday, and came back from slaughter again. Kill God. The sword light lit up, and the target was the remaining gold-devouring beasts. After one strike, nearly 10,000 gold-devouring beasts were beheaded on the spot. At this time, a golden star flew over at an astonishing speed, and landed on the Skeleton King. The Skeleton King flew out, and his body was broken again. But under the treatment of General Lich, his broken body quickly recovered. Before it stopped, gravity acted on it and pulled it back. The other Shuojin star had already gained momentum and slammed into it fiercely. The Skeleton King was knocked into the air again, but he was still alive. The Lich General heals quickly. With the Lich General around, as long as he can't kill Skeleton King in seconds, it's hard for him to die. The Skeleton King quickly stabilized his body and slashed out with a sword again. This time the number of dead gold-devouring beasts was much less, but there was still thousands of them. The Skeleton God will appear again, launching a hunt for the gold-eating beast. After the Skeleton God General and Skeleton King took turns to wreak havoc, the gold-devouring herd now has less than 20,000 left, and it is still rapidly decreasing. Lin Moyu could feel the anger rising from the gold-devouring beast emperor. Die, you must die. Accompanied by the ear-piercing sound of gnashing teeth, the gold-devouring beast emperor's anger rose to the extreme. A blue flame rose inexplicably from Shuo Jinyuan's star, and purple flames glowed in the blue flame, and a towering giant appeared indistinctly. The giant held his hands up, as if he was holding something. Ask for flowers. The moment Lin Moyu saw the giant, he immediately knew which race's God King soul the gold-eating beast king had devoured. Star Sky Spirit Race. At the same time, information about the Starry Sky Spirit Race appeared in his mind. The Celestials in the Starry Sky are very mysterious, and rarely communicate with other races. They do not oppose any race, they are neutral races, and they are very low-key. In the human race, there is not much information about the Starry Sky Spirit Race, only that their totem is a giant holding up his hands. It is said that the giant is holding the world-exterminating star. As for what is the extinct star, there is no explanation. But the Star Sky Spirit Race is good at the law of gravity, which is known to everyone. When the giant with his hands on the sky appeared, coupled with the law of gravitation, the identity of the Starry Sky Spirit clan was beyond doubt. What are the Star Sky Spirit Race doing here? That hidden and mysterious race has never interacted with other races, and they don't need Shuojin, so why did they come here? Could it be for the essence of Shuojin? Lin Moyu didn't think about it for a while, but what he has to do now is because of the war. After the appearance of the giant holding hands, gravity changed. The original simple gravity began to become chaotic, and began to randomly pull on the body. Lin Moyu felt as if there were countless hands trying to tear his body apart. These hands are very powerful. If the physical body is not at the level of the true gods, they will definitely be torn to pieces. But for him, such a little power is not enough. A black spot appeared between the hands of the giant holding it up. As soon as the black spots appeared, an astonishing suction burst out immediately. The gravitational force was strengthened more than 10 times in an instant, and Lin Moyu was sucked uncontrollably. Lin Moyu's heart moved, and 10,000 Death Dragon Knights appeared behind him. The field of law started to fight against the law of gravity, the soul world opened, and the giant tree of talent turned into countless vines and stretched out, wrapping around the Death Dragon Knights. 10,000 Death Dragon Knights exerted their strength at the same time, holding Lin Moyu back. At this time, this force is almost acting on Lin Moyu alone, and it is extremely powerful. But the strength of the Death Dragon Knight is not small, and the two sides have maintained a balance. With a thought in Lin Moyu's heart, the skeleton god will suddenly change his target and kill a golden star. The skeleton king also locked on to the golden star, and slashed out with a sword. Lin Moyu thought about getting rid of a Shuojin star first, and counted with his fingers. Della spell, undead gaze. Multi-star sorcerer, curse of time 1. The red light flashed, and the curse fell. At the same time, 1,000,000 meters of undead eyes appeared in the starry sky. The law of immortality was activated with all its strength, and one after another law god dragon, with a strong breath of death, landed on the locked Shuojin star. Law, physical, soul, and triple attacks were launched almost simultaneously. After the previous trials, Lin Moyu has roughly seen their strength. The attack power of the gold-devouring beast emperor is almost equal to that of the 5th-level god king. The other 2 golden stars should be the reorganized bodies of 2 gold-eating beast kings, whose strength is around the 4th level of the god king. There is only 1 step difference between the 4th and 5th ranks of god kings, but the difference in strength is huge. Especially compared with Shuojin Yuanxing and Shuojin Xingchen, the gap was widened even further. Persimmon looked for soft ones first, so Lin Moyu was the first to find Shuojin Xingchen, and took them first. The sword light exploded on the Shuojin star, and the skeleton king went all out with his sword. The blue light was broken by 153. The blue Shuojin was cut out abruptly, and broke into countless pieces, facing the starry sky westward. The sword energy of the skeleton god fell densely on the Shuojin stars, and each sword energy could leave a mark. Thousands of swords, 10,000 swords, and 100,000 swords fell at the same time, shaking Shujin and the stars. Especially when the curse of time fell, Shuojin Xingchen trembled violently. Lin Moyu seemed to hear the screams from the gold-devouring beast. The gold-devouring beast has no wisdom, never fears death, and doesn't know what pain is. But with wisdom, you will have these bad emotions. So whether there is wisdom or not, sometimes it is like a double-edged sword, good and bad. The soul brought intense pain, and the entire Shuojin star was shaking and trembling. The surface of the stars cracked, and countless bottomless cracks appeared, as if the end was coming. The eyes of the undead's eyes fell, and the undead stared down. When the second soul attack fell, Shuojin and the stars shook even more, and blue light bloomed in the starry sky. The light was burning like a flame, and the blue flame swept over. In an instant, both the skeleton king and the skeleton god general were enveloped in flames. In the flames, the bones of the skeleton god general made a crackling sound, quickly dried up, and then began to turn black. Lin Moyu stared, the fire of the abyss. He knew that this gold-eating beast king devoured the soul of a demon, and he was a demon who was good at manipulating the fire of the abyss. The fire of the abyss contains the law from the abyss, and at the same time, it is fused with the poison of gold and silver stones, and the sharpness of the gold, turning it into a unique and powerful flame. The skeleton god will be severely burned, his whole body will turn black, his movements will become slow, and his strength will be greatly weakened. Then overwhelming white light enveloped the entire star. The skeleton god will collectively light up with a white light, and the charred bones will quickly recover. Strength recovery, combat power recovery. The skeleton god will once again unleash a stream of sword energy, hitting the Shuojin stars. Hundreds of thousands of sword chi fell, and the accumulation of small amounts made a lot. Shuojin Xingchen began to disintegrate in the agony and trembling of the soul. The gold-devouring beast emperor let out a roar, and the gravitational force locked Shuojin Xingchen and pulled it back. There was a smile on the corner of Lin Moyu's mouth. In just a short moment, 2 or 3 seconds before and after, he had already discovered the weakness of the gold-devouring beast. That is the soul. Their souls are not strong enough. Although they have manipulated the incomparably strong Shujin stars, they cannot fully control them because their physical bodies are not strong enough. Maybe Shuojin Xingchen can block the attack of the 5th level God King, but the soul cannot block the attack of the 3rd level God King. In the big world, the soul is more important than the body. The body can be relatively weak, but the soul cannot. But here, the gold-devouring beast emperor is obviously the other way around. No wonder the guy is motionless. It seems that the soul cannot manipulate this body. Shuojin Yuanxing is too big and too strong, far from being comparable to ordinary Shuojin Xingchen. After treating it as a physical body, it is impossible to manipulate Shuo Jinyuan star with only the soul of the gold-devouring beast emperor. This is a living target. Lin Moyu was determined, so that even if he couldn't hit it, he could escape. If the opponent can't move, don't try to catch up. Even Lin Moyu can fence this place and figure out how to do it accordingly. The gold-devouring beast emperor pulled back the 2 golden stars, as if placing a pair of eyes on him. Then the blue light flourished, covering the starry sky. Lin Moyu saw the blue light, and the starry sky in the distance suddenly changed. There were quite a few blue spots of light that suddenly disappeared and then reappeared. The blue spots of light became bigger and bigger, turning into golden stars one by one, and they were rushing towards them at an alarming speed. What is this guy going to do? Lin Moyu doesn't know what the gold-devouring beast emperor is going to do, and now he has ordered the skeleton god to attack him. The hardness of Shuo Jinyuan's star is far beyond imagination, and the attack of the skeleton general has no effect. Only the skeleton king can cause some negligible damage, which is nothing to the huge Shuo Jinyuan star. Lin Moyu pointed his finger, and the red light buzzed down. Yuanxing shook a few times, and then there was no movement for a while. Faintly, Lin Moyu heard the painful cries of the gold-devouring beast emperor. The curse of time didn't cause effective damage, it just made him suffer a bit. The eyes of the dead stared at the past, and the effect was even less obvious. Lin Moyu couldn't help sighing that the power of the soul attack was still slightly insufficient. If he had the 9th rank of True God now, the result might be completely different. A few golden stars flew over and exploded loudly, and the strong poisonous gas powder instantly enveloped the starry sky. The gold-devouring beast emperor possesses the ability to manipulate Shunjin, which can trigger a poisonous explosion at any time. If it hadn't been for him, the gold-devouring beast's move would have no disadvantages. Lin Moyu looked strange. He clearly knows that the highly toxic powder is useless to him. Why not use this trick? Before Lin Moyu could figure it out, the giant with his hands up to the sky suddenly emitted a strong light from his hands. He actually bowed down to Lin Moyu. With a buzzing sound, Lin Moyu's head shook violently, and his thoughts were confused for a while. The soul world buzzed, the crystal barriers creaked, and even deformed and distorted, as if being impacted by a huge force. 9-colored dragon's soul crystal uttered a loud and clear dragon chant, and Lin Moyu's thinking consciousness immediately recovered. A blue light flickered in front of his eyes, and a golden star had hit him heavily. Lin Moyu flew out of uncontrollably, and flew directly into the area of the highly toxic powder. Pure physical attacks can't hurt Lin Moyu, neither can poisonous powder. This time the impact actually did not cause any harm to Lin Moyu, far inferior to the previous soul impact. Lin Moyu flew upside down in the poisonous powder, still terrified in his heart. What kind of trap is this? My soul was inexplicably impacted just now, which was very strange. If it wasn't for the fact that his soul world was not strong enough, and his soul quality had already reached the peak of the 4th rank, he might have died just now. The soul world collapses, and he is bound to die. Although I don't know what spell the opponent used, but I can be sure that it belongs to the spell of the Starry Sky Spirit race. The celestials in the starry sky are too mysterious, and there is very little information about them. At this time, he saw the giant and knelt down to him again. Lin Moyu's hairs stood on end, and his whole body tensed up. The first kneeling is already very dangerous, the second kneeling. The attack came silently, and Lin Moyu suddenly felt a sharp tingling sensation. The skin is hot, like a fire. In the next second, the whole body was glowing with blue light, and the blue light came out from the skin. A large amount of highly toxic powder is rushing towards the body. He is poisoned. I haven't felt poisoned for a long time. Ever since I raised the poison resistance to 100%, and then awakened the elemental resistance passive technique, I have never been poisoned again. But now, he was actually poisoned. He realized that this was the effect of the giant's second kneeling. The second time I bowed down, it affected the magic effect of elemental resistance, so that I could no longer be immune to poison. Fortunately, it only affected part of the effect, and did not completely lose its effect. Otherwise he would have died of poison by now. At this time, the body of the peak of the true god played a role, and the toxicity was resisted after invading the skin. The stronger the physical body, the stronger the resistance to this type of toxicity. Immediately afterwards, the white light flashed on his body, and General Lich began to treat Lin Moyu. The effect of the treatment is not very obvious, but it still has some effect, reducing part of the damage. The damage caused by the poison will also be transmitted to the skeletons. In this case, Lin Moyu will be fine after standing in the 16 poison powder for 10 days and a half. Looking at the giant, Lin Moyu's eyes were full of vigilance. This kind of attack is too weird to defend against. With Lin Moyu's lock, Skeleton King slashed at the giant at the same time. The sword light flashed across the giant, and the giant let out a scream, which became somewhat illusory, but did not disappear. This was the third time the giant began to bow down. Boom! Lin Moyu trembled all over, feeling a sense of weakness. Sleepiness hit him, and he had the urge to sleep for 3 days and 3 nights. The whole body was limp and weak, as if all the strength had been drained. My attributes have been weakened. Lin Moyu immediately realized that this time kneeling down, the other party weakened all his attributes. However, it does not affect the law, nor does it affect the strength of the physical body. It simply made him feel a sense of powerlessness. Although it did not cause specific damage, it would be fatal in a normal battle. I will devour your soul and turn you into my slave, and I will make you my slave forever and ever. The voice of the gold-devouring beast emperor came from outside the poison powder, and it became more and more ear-piercing. Lin Moyu was surrounded by poisonous fans, his eyes were cold and sharp. No, we can't drag it on like this. I don't know if there will be a 4th or 5th kneeling. If it continues, it will be dangerous. The spells of the Celestial Spirit clan in the starry sky were too weird, and Lin Moyu knew that he couldn't delay any longer. Feeling ruthless in his heart, his eyes swept over the gold-devouring beast emperor, the huge and solid Shuojin origin star. There are also 2 golden stars in front of it, as well. And the remaining tens of thousands of gold-devouring beasts. Tens of thousands of gold-eating beasts are not qualified to participate in this battle, and Lin Moyu did not kill all the gold-eating beasts, because keeping them is useful. Taking a deep breath, if I still can't solve it, I should run away. Clenching his fists, his whole body suddenly shone brightly. Original technique, strong soldiers. The original spell, cohesion. The 2 original spells are activated at the same time, and all the summoned objects and attributes owned by Lin Moyu converge towards the body. The weakened attribute instantly returns to its peak state, and then breaks through to its peak. Facing the unreasonable original spells, it seems that the barrier of realm does not exist. As long as Lin Moyu's physical body and soul can withstand it and provide enough power, Lin Moyu can be astonishingly strong. Lin Moyu's breath is constantly rising. The true god has the 7th rank, the 8th rank and the 5th rank. Breakthrough. The aura belonging to the God King erupted from Lin Moyu's body, dispelling the highly toxic powder in a short time. God King 1st rank, 2nd rank. 4th order. There is a bulging feeling in the soul, and the same as last time, the body still has power, and the soul is saturated first. Lin Moyu stopped last time, but not this time. Only the 4th rank of God King is not enough. Continue. Lin Moyu took a deep breath and continued to improve. The huge power followed inexplicable laws, drilled into the body, drilled into the soul. The 5th rank of God King. 6th order. 7th step. Lin Moyu's aura became stronger and stronger, the starry sky was shaking, and the highly toxic powder was blown up by an invisible force, spreading towards the surroundings. The swelling feeling in the soul is getting stronger and stronger, as if it will explode in the next second. The body has almost reached the limit, the whole body is supported by flesh and skin, and Lin Moyu's size has grown a whole circle. Facing the tyrannical force, the poisonous sensus was completely expelled. God King 9th rank. Lin Moyu has reached the 9th level of God King, except that he does not have the domain of soul law. Other aspects are no different from the 9th level of God King. This starry sky ushered in an unprecedentedly powerful existence, and the power of the 9th level God King was surging in the starry sky. Originally Lin Moyu was trying to see if he could reach the god, but the answer told him that it was impossible. If he continues to break through, he will explode and die on the spot. Even in this state, it won't last long. The soul has been greatly traumatized. If it were an ordinary person, he would have died long ago. Not much time. Under the blessing of the two original spells, the soul power is being consumed rapidly, and the time it can last is not long, only 20 seconds. At this time, those gold-eating beasts that are still alive can play a huge role. They are the best soul supplements for Lin Moyu. Undead Wings shook violently like never before. Undead Wings is a spell with no upper limit. The stronger the power given to it, the more violent the feedback it will give. In particular, the Undead Wing contains the law of space, which has already been reflected when Lin Moyu pushed it with all his strength before. Now Lin Moyu is urging the Undead Wings with the 9th level power of the God King, and the space in front of him shattered like a mirror, and Lin Moyu also arrived in front of Shuojinyangsing like a teleportation. 503 The Skeleton King threw the bone sword in his hand to Lin Moyu. The bone sword shrunk halfway, and when it came to Lin Moyu's hand, it was no different from an ordinary long sword. The gold-devouring beast emperor was stunned. It didn't understand why Lin Moyu was fine all of a sudden. And the aura on Lin Moyu made him feel terrified. Slay God. Lin Moyu let out a soft drink, and slashed out with a sword, aiming at the giant holding up his hands. The sword light was extremely blazing, far surpassing the Skeleton King's sword. The giant shattered in the sword light, the spell was broken, and the gold-devouring beast emperor let out a scream. Then Lin Moyu slashed out with the second sword. The second sword targeted all the living gold-devouring beasts. The sword light swept across the starry sky, covering all the gold-devouring beasts. Whether it is an ordinary gold-eating beast, an elite gold-eating beast, or a captain-level gold-eating beast. Nearly 20,000 gold-eating beasts turned into nothingness after this sword strike. The starry sky is full of pieces of gold, densely packed. A large amount of soul power rewinds back, replenishing Lin Moyu's consumption. The spell time has been greatly extended, and now it can last at least 100 seconds. 100 seconds is enough. With a smile on the corner of Lin Moyu's mouth, he pointed out. Fusion spell, Curse of Time. When the red light fell, the two golden stars trembled violently, the stars cracked, and the soul was severely injured and began to collapse. The scream of the gold-devouring beast emperor sounded beside his ears, the blue color vibrated, and cracks appeared on Shuo Jinyuan's star. Lin Moyu held the sword and charged into the crack. Shuo Jinyuan's star shook violently, Lin Moyu rushed in, and the 9th level combat power of the God King broke out unscrupulously. Not only the 9th rank of God King, but also the 10 times the killing effect brought by Strength Soldier. Even with Shuo Jinyuangsing as his body, the gold-devouring beast emperor has no power to resist. The power gap is really too big. There is no comparison between the 5th level of God King and the 9th level of God King. Outside Shuo Jinyuan's star, Skeleton God General and Skeleton King have launched a fierce attack with the two Shuojin stars. They also enjoy the 10 times the damage brought by the Strengthened Soldiers spell, and Shuojin stars are torn into pieces by them like building blocks. The gold-devouring beast emperor kept screaming, and it couldn't stop Lin Moyu in any way. Lin Moyu's sword pierced through the high-purity shunjin, killing all the way to the core area. A piece of purple light occupies the line of sight, and Shuojin essence is everywhere here. The strands of Shuojin essence are intertwined together, like smooth silk, noble and beautiful. In the purple light, Lin Moyu saw the instigator of this incident. A gold-eating beast the size of a fist. The soul of the gold-devouring beast emperor. It crouched in the purple light, trembling. It looks like a puppy, with fear and fierceness in its eyes. It stared at Lin Moyu viciously, and the voice of the soul kept echoing, "I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you." It looks like it has gone crazy. Lin Moyu used the time curse constantly along the way just now. Under the strong soul attack, thanks to the Shuojin essence, it can live until now. Lin Moyu didn't want to talk nonsense with it, and then slashed out with a sword. The soul suddenly burst into dazzling purple light, and the soul screamed again and again, but it did not die. The gold-devouring beast emperor kept screaming, "Go to hell, die." The purple light became more and more intense, and in front of Lin Moyu's eyes, an illusory shadow appeared. Shadow folded his hands, as if he was holding something. As soon as it appeared, it bowed to Lin Moyu. Boom! The majestic force slammed into Lin Moyu's body, his soul shook violently, and he was hit hard again. Lin Moyu felt that his realm had dropped from the 9th level of the true god to the 8th level of the true god. Then Shadow saluted again, bowing twice. An invisible force fell on Lin Moyu, and his realm dropped again, becoming the 7th level true god. It's another technique of the Starry Sky spirit race. This kind of attack is too weird. But now Lin Moyu is not his own realm, but a temporary realm raised by magic. Over and over again, too much. Lin Moyu didn't have any fear of the fall of the realm, took a deep breath, and in the blink of an eye, the breath was raised to the 9th level of the God King again. Then Lin Moyu's soul leaped out, holding the top-grade magic weapon of the God King realm, the soul-slashing sword in his hand. Now he is temporarily at the 9th rank of God King, and can exert all the power of the soul-slashing sword. Soul raised his little hand and pointed towards Jin Xiaxia. With a sharp sword light, the soul-slashing sword shot out instantly, piercing into the soul of the gold-devouring beast emperor. The soul-slashing sword is a soul magic weapon, and it is also a top-grade soul magic weapon in the God King realm. All of its attacks are aimed at the soul. The soul-slashing sword pierced into the soul of the gold-devouring beast emperor, and a burst of flames burst out, burning the soul. The soul of the gold-devouring beast emperor screamed in the flames, and the essence of Shuojin poured in frantically, trying to extinguish the flames like flowing water. But to no avail, the flame of the soul-slashing sword cannot be extinguished easily. Just 2 seconds later, the soul of the gold-devouring beast emperor was burned to ashes and ceased to exist. The phantoms surrounding the thing disappeared, and the spell ended. Once the soul died, the entire Shuo Jinyuan star fell silent. Although it is still emitting azure light, it is completely different from the previous situation. It is no longer bursting so much, and it has begun to merge. At this time, the 2 golden stars had been torn apart by the skeletons, and turned into countless fragments, scattered in the starry sky. Lin Moyu exhaled, and the breath in his whole body weakened sharply. He took the initiative to dispel the 2 original spells. At this moment, his body shook violently, revealing an inexplicable smile. The original spell was lifted, and the soul suddenly exploded like a balloon blown to the limit. The soul exploded into pieces, and then Lin Moyu's whole body was shrouded in purple light, his talent was activated, and he was fully reborn. The soul is reborn, and the physical state is also restored to its full state. At this time, Lin Moyu found that his realm had improved. After a killing, he was promoted from the 5th level of True God to the 6th level of True God. After activating the original spell, he killed nearly 20,000 gold-eating beasts, and some of them were in the God King realm, and the rest were all 8th or 9th level true gods. After that, he killed the gold-eating beast emperor of the 5th rank of the God King, absorbing a large amount of soul power. After the double purification of the talent giant tree and the 9-color dragon soul crystal, it still transformed into a huge soul power. Original technique: fighting to support fighting. The more you fight, the stronger you become. Lin Moyu muttered to himself, the original technique is too heaven-defying. Others have a chance to become a real strong man if they get one, but they have two. This kind of thing, no matter who, has to envy to death. With a flick of the finger, a group of silvery white flames popped up, wanting to revive the gold-eating beast emperor. Lin Moyu is not interested in the plan for the birth of the gold-eating beast emperor. What he is interested in is the Starry Sky spirit race. This mysterious race is everywhere, and the various spells are also extremely strange. And the purpose of coming here is also in doubt. Lin Moyu really wants to know, and the best way is through the mouth of the resurrected. The undead flame was burning blazingly, but it didn't condense the soul it should have, nor could it turn the gold-devouring beast emperor into a resurrected person. Lin Moyu frowned. The resurrection of the dead spell was invalid. After pondering for a few seconds, Lin Moyu probably knew the cause of the failure. Resurrection of the dead needs a corpse, even if it's just a strand of hair. But there is only the soul of the soul-devouring beast emperor, and the soul has been wiped out, and there is nothing. Shuo Jinyuan's star has always existed, but it is occupied and manipulated by it, and it cannot be regarded as its real body, so it cannot be regarded as a corpse. Without a corpse, resurrection of the dead will naturally not take effect. He should not destroy his original body, and should hide it somewhere. And not far away, and in a safe place. Then, it's most likely here. Look for it. In this piece of flesh and soul perception are strongly hindered, cannot see clearly. De Nuo Zhao. And you don't need to do it yourself. With a heartbeat, thousands of skeletons appeared around him, and they began to look around. Lin Moyu looked at the ubiquitous Shuojin essence. This is the core of Shuojin origin star, a world that belongs to the essence of Shuojin. intertwined into silk-like shuojin essence, like strips of purple ribbons, dancing in the air. Lin Moyu stretched out his hand, and a piece of silk entered his hand. This piece of silk contains at least tens of thousands of strands of shuojin essence. The soul opened its mouth and sucked in the whole piece of silk immediately. A purple light appeared on the surface of the soul. The purple light clings to the skin tightly, flowing like water. The purple light is between the soul skin and the soul clothing, and it is another layer of defense under the soul clothing. And Lin Moyu could feel that Ziguang's defense was very strong, surpassing that of Raincoat Sea. As the soul becomes stronger, the purple light will become stronger accordingly. It's really a good thing. Lin Moyu began to gulp down the shuojin essence. Purple light flowed from the skin of the soul, quickly covering the entire soul. The purple light was quickly absorbed by the soul and disappeared. After absorbing the essence of shuojin, the defense of the soul was greatly improved. Then the second layer of shuojin essence appeared, flowing on the soul again, for the soul to absorb. After rounds of absorption, the defense of the soul is getting stronger and stronger. Lin Moyu, relying on his own soul quality, unscrupulously absorbed the essence of shuojin. It didn't stop until it was completely saturated and the soul could no longer absorb the shuojin essence. There are many treasures in the big world, but the treasures that can strengthen the soul only account for a very small part. Shuojin essence is a rare treasure. If the soul does not leave the soul world and is protected by the soul barrier, it will not be able to experience the effect of the essence of shuojin. But once the soul leaves the body, whether it is the manifestation of the soul or the domain of the soul law, the defense of the soul is extremely important. The soul can display amazing combat power, but it is also extremely fragile. After absorbing enough shuojin essence, Lin Moyu probably judged that his soul defense power had surpassed the peak of God King realm. One's own soul can almost ignore the soul attack of the God King realm. Even if it is a soul attack from the godly realm, it is impossible to easily kill one's own soul. If you encounter a deity like Kongwen Buddha again, at least in terms of soul, it will not be so easy to kill yourself. In the final analysis, 610's own realm is poor, which drags down the soul. Otherwise, the soul can continue to strengthen. He has absorbed a lot of shuojin essence, but the purple light is still dazzling in the space, and the shuojin essence has not diminished. Unfortunately, the essence of shuojin can't be taken away. Once shuojin essence leaves shuojin star, it will dissipate. So you can only attract here, there is no other way. But there are not many people who have the ability to enter shuojin star. Even if you come in, because of the limitation of the quality of the soul realm, you can't absorb much. It's impossible to be like Lin Moyu. 1/10 of Lin Moyu's is considered very strong. Since you can't take it away, you don't need to have much nostalgia. Look away from shuojin essence, and check the information sent back by them. Sure enough, I found it. One of the skeletons found a passage. This passage is very hidden. If it wasn't for the skeleton's carpet-like search, it would hardly be found. It hides behind a piece of shuojin, and the outside is wrapped with shuojin essence, and the purple and blue rays of light are intertwined, so it is almost impossible to be found. Entering it along the passage, Lin Moyu felt something was wrong before taking a few steps. In the channel, shuojin essence is surprisingly rich. The channel was completely dyed purple, and a large amount of shuojin essence was floating in the channel, bgej. Every step you take, you can squeeze out a large amount of shuojin essence. The shuojin essence outside the cave is just a part of it floating out from the passage. Lin Moyu suddenly became curious about the other end of the passage. But he didn't let his guard down. The God King of the Starry Sky spirit race died here. As for whether he died outside or inside the tunnel, it's hard to say. No corresponding corpse was found outside. Lin Moyu guessed that he might have died at the other end of the passage. The line of sight in the passage is extremely poor, completely taken by the purple light of shuojin essence. A few skeletons opened the way ahead, making clicking noises as they moved. After walking for a while, the purple light suddenly dispersed, as if entering another dimension. This place is still filled with purple light, but it is concentrated, no longer blocking the line of sight like in the passage. Above the space, there is a huge purple light group, which is composed of shuojin essence. Wisps of shuojin essence are overflowing from the light cluster. Under the light cluster, a humanoid creature sat cross-legged. Beside him, lay a gold-devouring beast. This gold-eating beast is not big in size. Compared with other gold-eating beasts, it looks quite small. But the aura on its body is not weak, and the purple light on its skin is flowing, carrying a kind of nobility. The celestial spirit clan in the starry sky. Gold-devouring beast emperor. Combining the information obtained before, it is not difficult to distinguish, it is these two. The celestial spirits in the starry sky absorbed the essence of Shuojin here, and were attacked by the gold-eating beast emperor, and finally came into shape. The soul was devoured by the gold-devouring beast emperor, and finally the gold-devouring beast emperor developed spiritual wisdom, so many things happened next. Lin Moyu also saw this mysterious race for the first time, so he couldn't help but observe more. The celestial spirit clan in the starry sky is 89% similar to the human clan. But on the top of their heads, there is a sharp horn. It's a bit like the unicorn's horn, but it's more delicate and smaller. Other than that, it is almost no different from the human race. Even the clothes are very close to the human race. The celestial spirit clan in the starry sky is indeed extraordinary, to be able to find it here. If it was another race, they wouldn't even be able to get close. Moreover, the corpses did not decompose after death, indicating that they had extremely strong resistance to poison, and might even be immune to poison. Since there are corpses here, it will be easy to handle. Lin Moyu ejected a ball of flames and landed on the corpses of the sky spirit tribes in the starry sky. In the flames, Lin Moyu felt the beating of his soul. Following a certain mysterious rule, its soul is reorganizing. A few seconds later, the starry sky spirit tribe opened their eyes. His eyes are as deep as the starry sky, as if containing the entire big world. Lin Moyu had seen such eyes before, they were soft eyes, and it was the same. The Murlocs in the starry sky, the sky spirits in the starry sky. They all include the word starry sky. Does it have any special meaning? Lin Moyu thought in his heart. After becoming a resurrection, the star sky spirit tribe looked at Lin Moyu calmly. He didn't prostrate on the ground like others, and he didn't claim to be his master. Lin Moyu saw a kind of arrogance in his eyes. The revived will retain all the memories of their lifetime, including thinking and character. Although because of spells, thinking will be forcibly distorted, completely obey Lin Moyu's orders. But sometimes, some arrogant characters will resist. Lin Moyu didn't care about this, and asked, "Are you from the starry sky spirit race?" The man nodded, but said nothing. "What's your name? What level of cultivation?" Qian Zihan, the third rank of God King. The answer was crisp and clear, without any nonsense. Lin Moyu asked, "The giant who holds his hands up and kneels, and the person who embraces the void and bows, are you spells?" Qian Zihan nodded again, wishing. Quote. Lin Moyu continued to ask, "Then tell me, what is the law of the spells of your starry sky spirit race, and how did those strange effects come about?" Qian Zihan didn't speak, but there was a trace of struggle and pain in his eyes. Soon, a lot of bloodshot eyes appeared in the eyes full of stars, and blood flowed from the corners of the eyes. Lin Moyu frowned. Qian Zihan was actually resisting his order. Then Qian Zihan suddenly closed his eyes, and his breath fluctuated violently. He's going to blow himself up. Lin Moyu's face changed, but his mind suddenly gave an order: destroy. The soul dissipated, and Qian Zihan turned into smoke and dust, and the ashes disappeared. Lin Moyu has the power to manipulate the life and death of the resurrected, and just one thought can wipe out the resurrected. He also didn't expect that Zizi Toilet would explode himself. What kind of power is it that can make Qian Zihan resist resurrection? Apparently Qian Zihan didn't want to tell the secret about the starry sky spirit race. Lin Moyu is a little helpless. The mystery and danger of this race in his mind has increased to a higher level. In this way, the dead are not necessarily reliable. From then on, all traces of Qian Zihan in the big world were completely erased. Perhaps only in the memories of the celestial clan in the starry sky, such a god king exists. Lin Moyu's eyes fell on the gold-eating beast emperor beside him. "I hope you can give me an answer." The flames popped out from the fingers, and landed on the body of the gold-devouring beast emperor. The beast of fire, the gold-devouring beast emperor slowly opened his eyes. After becoming a resurrected person, it crawled on the ground and let out a soft roar. Seeing this situation, Lin Moyu breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that he can ask something. The gold-devouring beast emperor devoured Qian Zihan's soul, probably because he had learned a lot of information about the sky spirit race in the starry sky. But immediately Lin Moyu frowned again. Through the connection with the resurrected, Lin Moyu felt something was wrong. The soul of the gold-devouring beast emperor is lifeless, devoid of agility, and doesn't look like he has wisdom. It's more like an instinct but no mind beast. Lin Moyu asked in a low voice, "Can you speak?" Roar. The answer was the roar of the beast. The voice was like a lion and a tiger, but it had a bit of momentum, but it was useless to Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu patted his head and understood what was going on. The Son of Heaven was gone, and resurrection of the dead erased all traces of his existence. Even his devoured soul cannot be recovered again. Even the soul of the gold-devouring beast emperor reorganized and revived through resurrection of the dead, no longer contained any information about Tianzihan. The gold-eating beast emperor, who became a resurrected one, had its soul in the state before it devoured Tianzihan's soul. It had no wisdom, no thinking, and was purely a beast acting on instinct. It's even worse than the dogs that many ordinary people keep at home. But it's not right, at least it became a resurrected person, and it was more obedient than a dog. Lin Moyu knew that he couldn't get any more information, so he asked, "Can you manipulate Shuo Jinyuan?" The gold-devouring beast emperor raised his head, his eyes showed some confusion, as if he didn't understand what Lin Moyu said. It has no wisdom, and naturally it cannot understand the lingua franca of the world. Lin Moyu had no choice but to use soul consciousness to communicate. Communicating with the soul can overcome language barriers. The gold-devouring beast emperor nodded obediently. Just as Lin Moyu thought, it does have the ability to manipulate gold and stars. It's just that they don't have wisdom, and they have never shown this ability for countless years. It is precisely because of this ability that it can use Shuo Jinyuan's star as its new body. Lin Moyu knew that, in fact, it was not the real body, it was just the soul temporarily living on Shuo Jinyuan's star, manipulating Shuo Jinyuan's star, thus blocking this area, making the area 6 to 99 only accessible and unable to exit. It's just that it's too stupid to explain its own background at all, and even Lin Moyu's orders need many times of communication to understand. Lin Moyu expressed helplessness. In the end, after Lin Moyu had to communicate repeatedly, he let it lift the restrictions on the 6 to 99 area and restore it to its usual appearance. From this moment on, outsiders can come in, and insiders can leave the hospital. Lin Moyu looked up at the purple light cluster in midair. Shuo Jinyuan's star is the core of area 6 to 99. Then this purple light cluster is the core of Shuo Jinyuan's star. The Shuojin essence in Shuojin Yuanxing came from him. The gold-eating beast emperor couldn't tell his own origin, but in communicating with it, Lin Moyu discovered that the origin of the gold-eating beast was related to this purple light group. Even the entire number 6 to 99 area, as well as the production of Shuojin, are related to the purple light group. The light cluster with a diameter of only 5 meters in front of you is the real source of the area 6 to 99. Lin Moyu's eyes were like lightning, and his thoughts turned quickly. After Tianzihan died, his position should have remained unchanged. From the position Tianzihan was in before, it can be seen that Tianzihan should be absorbing the power in the light cluster. On the surface, the purple light cluster is nothing more than Shuojin essence, and there are countless Shuojin essences outside, enough for him to absorb. At his soul level, he can't absorb much Shuojin essence, so why did he go here to absorb it? Could it be that the Shuojin essence in the light group is different from the outside world? While muttering to himself, Lin Moyu fully focused on the purple light cluster in midair. All questions should go here. The purpose of Tianzihan's coming here should also be for this light group, or something in the light group. As for this piece of information, after the gold-devouring beast emperor devoured Tianzihan's soul, he did not get a corresponding inheritance. Otherwise, the gold-devouring beast emperor would definitely not let go of the light ball. Hundreds of years are enough to study the light ball thoroughly. Lin Moyu slowly floated up and came to the light group. Looking at the light ball overflowing with light, there are strands of Shuojin essence flying out of the light ball and spreading towards the outside world. Ask for flowers. Carefully stretch out your hand and try to touch the light cluster. The light clusters are soft to the touch, like entering cold water. But soon, this coolness turned into a burning sensation. Laugh. Lin Moyu felt the poison from the light group, which was exactly the same poison as the gold and silver stone, and the poison was stronger and stronger. The light group is not only the source of Shuojin essence, but also the source of the highly poisonous gold and silver stone, and it can even be the source of Shuojin mine. If someone else comes into contact with the light group, even if it is the third level of the God King, they will definitely die. No wonder Tianzihan didn't touch the light ball directly, he obviously knew it. The light ball is very poisonous, but to Lin Moyu, there is no other harm except for a slight burning sensation. After trying it out, Lin Moyu decided to check it out. The diameter of the purple light group is no more than 5 meters, and the range is not large. Lin Moyu entered it, his eyes were shrouded in a purple light, and he really couldn't see his fingers. Bathed in the purple streamer, Lin Moyu felt very strange and had a very comfortable feeling. The slight burning sensation turned into warmth, warming the whole body. With a hint of surprise, Lin Moyu walked slowly in the light cluster. Soon came to the center of the light group and saw something in the center of the light group. A purple gemstone is located in the very center of the light group. The purple light circulates, and all Shuojin essence comes from it. It is the real source of area 6 to 99. A piece of gemstone that is a little smaller than a baby's fist, and looks even broken, is actually the source of area 6 to 99. This is too incredible. Lin Moyu also felt extremely miraculous in his heart, but he didn't reach out immediately. No matter what the situation is, caution has become an instinct. Pop up the detection technique and wait for the result. Unknown substance. The results brought back by the detection technique were not unexpected. As Lin Moyu's knowledge became wider and wider, his realm became higher and higher, and he came into contact with more and more things. It is found that the detection technique is not a panacea. There are many things that the detection technique cannot give results. A skeleton appeared beside Lin Moyu, and the skeleton stretched out its hand to grab the gem. Nothing happened. After the skeleton grabbed the gemstone, it remained silent, expressing safety. After a few more seconds, there was still no change. Lin Moyu stretched out his hand and grabbed the jewel 3.